everyone, Kristina here. Welcome to day 6 of the holiday card series for 2015. Today I'm using the Jingle Greetings stamp set from Mama Elephant. I'm going to set this stamp set aside for a minute while I cut some cardstock. The cardstock I'm using is Simon Says Stamp Schoolhouse Red, and it's cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's the size of a front of the card. And I'm going to be cutting off the very bottom using the A2 card curved edge die. I'm going to cut off about 1.5 inches off the very bottom. This is going to give me the chance to have another color peeking out from beneath. Holding that die in place using some Post-it tape, and then I'll run that through my Big Shot machine. So this is a really great die to have on hand because you can use it on the side of your card or on the bottom of your card. It's long enough to go either direction. You just have to make sure you line it up on your cardstock evenly to get a nice curved edge. So because I like that curved edge and I want that greeting to kind of nestle up into the curved edge of that cardstock, I'm going to put down the plastic backing sheet from my stamp set over the top, and then I'll kind of put my stamp on top of the curved edge. This is going to give me a chance to manipulate this stamp and bend it so that it matches the curved edge of the bottom of the cardstock. So I'm just lifting up the two ends. You can see that that bottom line of text just mimics that curved edge that I just cut with my die cutting machine. So I'll take my compact stamp press and press that down over top. That's going to pick up the stamp. And then all I have to do is peel off the plastic backing sheet from that stamp set, and then I'm ready to start stamping. I want this greeting to be white, so I'm going to do some white heat embossing. I'm prepping the area with my EK Success powder tool, and then I'm using Versamark ink to ink up that stamp, and then I'll very carefully line it back up over that cardstock and press it down to stamp my greeting. So the very bottom of this greeting has a really small line of text, and I wanted a really fine detailed embossing powder for this, so I'm using Hero Art's white embossing powder. It works fantastically for little itty bitty detailed areas like those words. A little bit of that Post-it tape left some residue behind, but it wasn't a problem. I just took a dry brush and brushed away that powder that stuck to that residue from the Post-it tape. Then I used my heat tool to melt the heat embossing powder until it was completely melted. I'm going to do some stenciling on the top portion of this red cardstock, and I'm going to use the Snowflake stencil from Tim Holtz. I'm also using this really fun glitter paste. It's Cosmic Shimmer Paste, and it's so beautiful. It's a nice red color. I think it's a candy apple red is the color. And I'm just taping down the stencil and also my cardstock. I turned it upside down so it was a little bit easier to use. And I'm going to use this palette knife to bring over some of that shimmer paste. Now, you'll notice that after I do the very first snowflake, suddenly the stencil's really clean and I'm doing the rest. That's because I wanted to do one snowflake and then kind of move the stencil around, but then I realized that the distance between the snowflakes and also the border of the stencil wouldn't allow me to do that. I needed to use the entire stencil as is, so I went ahead and added that shimmer over the entire area. The reason I wanted to make them look a little bit more random is that on the stencil you'll see they're in 2 rows or 2 columns and they're very perfect. And I didn't want it to look completely perfect on my final piece. I wanted it to look a little bit more random and filled in. So I grabbed some Christmas red stickles from Ranger, and I decided to add dots in between all of those snowflakes. And this is going to fill in the area around the snowflakes and make it look a little bit more random, a little bit more purposeful. And also I wanted the shimmer design to come back down on that left side. You'll notice that the snowflake on the right side was quite low. I needed to even that out on the left side with some dots. So I set that aside to dry. And I'm going to stamp my green piece. I'm going to use the Diagonal Stripes background stamp from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm using green leaf cardstock and green leaf ink. This is going to do a tone-on-tone effect with the stamping. And I'm only inking up the very bottom of the stamp because that's all that's going to be peeking out from underneath that red piece of cardstock. So I'm pressing my cardstock down onto the stamp. This is the easiest way to stamp your background stamps, in my opinion. I'm going to grab some white cardstock so I can cover up that side and really use my fingers to press in that cardstock to the stamp. Then I'll move it over to the other side so I can press on the other side of that stamp. And it transfers the ink over and leaves a very beautiful tone-on-tone diagonal stripe. I think it's going to look really, really pretty peeking out from underneath that red piece of cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and prep my card base before I move on, just because I have to wait for that red piece to dry anyway. So I have some Nina Desert Storm 100-pound cardstock, scored it at 5.5 to create a top folding card, and then I'll adhere this green piece directly over the top. You could use a white card base or any other card base you want for this, because nothing's going to show on the front of the card. It's purely just for the interior of the card. I'm using a craft color just because I really love craft with red and green. So I waited about a half hour to 40 minutes for all of this to dry. That included the stickles as well, so the stickles and the shimmer paste. Then I added a bunch of foam adhesive on the back and put that directly onto the top of that green piece. So I'm just going to press that on so that it's completely adhered. And then just to add a little bit more detail and to bring in some more white, since that white looks very stark right now, I took a Uniball Signo Broad white gel pen and added a dash line along that curved end. I also took my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper and I rounded the bottom corners of the card. This is using the 1/2-inch corner rounder. I also took some white embroidery floss and just tied that around the top portion of the card, just to bring in a little bit more white. You could definitely omit this step if you don't want to have the string, but I thought it just added to the sort of gift-like look of the card. So that's the card for today. This is day 6. Hope you guys enjoyed. I will be back on Friday for day 7 of the holiday card series. Until then, happy card making, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks again for watching today's video. This was day 6 of the holiday card series. So on screen right now are the 6 previous years of the holiday card series, and these are all day 6 cards as well. So if you'd like to see some additional card inspiration, or if you're new to the holiday card series and just want to see what it's all about, go ahead and click on any of those on screen right now, and it will take you directly to those videos. You can visit my blog at kwernerdesign.com. That's also where you can see all of the supplies that I used in today's card. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.